up, Outer Banks? I'm Sue Artz with OBX Entertainment.com, and I want to welcome you to a new episode of OBXE TV. Celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, Kelly's Restaurant and Tavern in Nags Head is the Outer Banks landmark hotspot for excellent food and the top nightlife entertainment. Today, our special guest is the owner of Kelly's, Pamlico Jack's, and Mako Mike's, and he's also the founder of the OBX Marathon and the annual Outer Banks St. Patrick's Day Parade. He was also our first ever guest here on OBXE TV, and we're very excited to welcome back Mike Kelly. Hey Mike, thanks for being here again.
Oh, it's indeed my pleasure. We're excited. It's been a year. I can't even realize it.
I know. Well, the last time you were here, we talked mostly about your St. Patrick's Day Parade. But this time I thought maybe we could go back even further and talk about how you got your start in the restaurant business here.
Well, I came down in the early 70s and worked while I was in college, and it was just a natural evolution to going on and worked at in the 70s at the Seafair Restaurant in Nags Head, which is, the building's no longer there. And then in the early 80s worked at a restaurant by George. That building's no longer there. And then in mid 80s to present worked at Kelly's.
So did you always know that you wanted to get into the restaurant industry, or?
Actually, no, I had no one in the family. I do have a picture of the turn of the century of in the northeastern Pennsylvania, a coal mining town, Kelly's Restaurant and Tavern, that my great-grandfather and grandmother had, and that makes it very interesting. But no, I'm the only one in the family that ever has. My daughters don't want to stay in the industry. One's living down here and one's living in New York City, but they both grew up in it and did worked in it for a great extensive amount of time. But it was a natural progression. You got into it, you enjoyed it, and the hospitality industry has changed a lot nationally, but on the Outer Banks it's changed a great deal also. And it doesn't feel like it's changed that much, and it doesn't feel like it was that long ago till I realized that I've been doing this for about 43 years, and so that's it's almost retirement time.
Wow, that must be nice.
Yeah.
So, when did you decide you wanted to expand into the tavern part?
Well, I bought the J. Fleming Mundy's facility in 1985, and we had it, and it had a smaller tavern and everything, and probably because of increased competition, some other people opening up some other tavern and entertainment type of venues, you had to make a decision. You're either going to stay a smaller size, or you're going to begin to grow, and if you did grow, that how big did you want to grow and everything. So that was a pretty major thing. The really one part about it that I think more than anything else, I had just paid the restaurant off before we borrowed money to redo the tavern. So it's the kind of thing that it's just there's been a continuing involvement and always having obligations and so things such as that. But the entertainment part's been pretty energizing, and it's just like we're right now booking for 2015 this summer. We booked Collie Buds and Delta Ray in the last week or so, and they're high quality national acts. And so for the Outer Banks, and we I think most of the people enjoy the national acts we get, and then we have a lot of regional and then local acts, and there's a lot more local entertainment now than there used to be.
Right.
And we're not only us, but other venues such as Bruce Station and there are numerous other places where the local talent's playing. We have them on the deck at Pamlico Jack's in the summer. Anything from singles to duos to trios, and all the talent is very good on the Outer Banks. And they all sort of, one guy will play by himself, then he'll play with another guy, but they'll play with another guy, and they'll play with another guy. So the options geometrically expand.
Right.
And,
yeah.
and so you got, I've got a guy named Muskrat plays in pedal steel, and he's played in 4 different bands on my stage in the last 2 months.
Wow.
And then you got other guys like Dan Martier, Buzz Bassett, and all that play in any number of different bands, and they're the older guys that I know more of. They're just a lot. Like last night, I had 3 young guys that were in their early 20s that play, and gosh, can't even remember their name. They start with F, and they you know they were all excited, and they played entirely different kind of music. Even they played a couple Rolling Stone things, but they were nothing like the crowd would play,
right.
or something like that. But it's all interesting, and the talent's evolving, and people do participate. So it's an exciting time for entertainment on the Outer Banks.
Yeah, definitely. And then they, especially the local groups, bring their own local friends. So that probably brings a lot more business to you.
And a lot of exposure and a lot of things. And then the two piers, Nags Head Pier and Outer Banks Pier, have really gotten people more into going out and thinking about their thought process is a little bit different. And Deck at Pamlico Jack's has done a great job in the evenings too. So I just think that it's exponentially exploded on the Outer Banks, the entertainment scene.
Definitely. And you're open year-round at Kelly's, right? And when did you open Mako Mike's and Pamlico Jack's?
Pamlico Jack's was opened '88, and then Mako Mike's was opened in the mid '90s, and they, that's just what's going on. And it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but here's Kelly's is in June going to celebrate its 30th anniversary. Pamlico Jack's will. About a couple weeks later, we'll have its 27th, and then Mako Mike's will be at 20 or 21, and you just don't realize it's been that long.
Right.
But it has been, and it's been enjoyable, and the Outer Banks has been a good market for us.
Good. So you've entertainment both at Kelly's and Pamlico Jack's, but not at Mako Mike's yet, right?
We haven't. We had entertained doing some different things and knocking some walls out this year. We're going to put that on the agenda for next winter to expand the bar area at Mako Mike's. We just didn't. We have a few things that we have to, with handicap access and some things that have to be addressed, and we go take care of that. And I think wouldn't be surprised if at Mako's we didn't begin to have some single or duos in there for a certain limited period of time.
Nice. Yeah, that's one of our very favorite places.
Yeah, right here in the hood.
Yep. So out of all of those, what's your favorite meal? What's your favorite thing on the menus that you offer?
Well, it all depends on the mood. Like last night I had some fresh sauteed flounder on a Hoppin' John with some local black-eyed peas and some good brown rice, and I thought that was great. But if there were to be a day-in, day-out favorite, is that I grew up on ground beef, and a good rare hamburger to me with I like mine with mustard, onions, and coleslaw is like and if you could cook a rare hamburger, that's probably the hardest thing to do, is get somebody to be able to cook it and not begin to overcook it. That's, to me, is that's it. But there's any other wealth of food. Like Outer Banks is very fortunate to have so much fresh seafood. Like right before I came today, I have some fresh tuna coming in tonight, and we'll have some rockfish coming in tomorrow. So those are things that we're indeed fortunate to be able to offer our guests and anybody that visits.
Yep, and for anyone who doesn't like seafood, my personal favorite Mako Mike's is the prime rib. So.
Yep. Your prime rib. We have prime rib on special tonight and tomorrow night at Kelly. So we do a good job with that tonight. So that's good. People do like prime rib. I love it. I love it also.
Yep. So when you walk into Kelly's, it's kind of like a museum of Outer Banks history. Can you tell us a little bit about all of your vintage things hanging on the wall?
Well, it's a bunch of mess is what it is, and that's I like the one criteria to hang on the wall is that it has to be something that you're going to find in northeastern North Carolina, and something that's indigenous. A lot of articles and pictures are to let people remember how it used to be and to see what it was, and it does stimulate a whole lot of thought process, and especially with the local people remembering that, well, my grandfather did this, my uncle did that, and whatever. I mean, like now we're getting some, our first distillery on the Outer Banks is started this week distilling over in Manio. Well, in East Lake, there was a significant amount of distilling going on in the 20s and 30s, and we have a lot of pictures of East Lake and things like that, and people, that spurs a lot of conversation, a lot of thoughts, and everything such as that. The other things such as the fish and some of the animals are all recycled. They're things that somebody didn't want somewhere, and they were getting ready to throw them away or whatever they were going to do with them. And so we we've taken them and put them out, and they're things that are indigenous. The kids really like seeing the bear that we have, the otters and things like that. And then with the fish, people come down here to go fishing. It's a real big item that they do. A lot of times people go fishing, but they don't know what they're fishing for, or they know the name of it, but they haven't seen one. And we have pretty much anything you'd be able to catch locally on the Outer Banks. We have a example of one mounted somewhere, so people can have an idea what a tilefish looks like, what a grouper looks like, what a marlin. We all know what a marlin and a sailfish looks like, but then make sure what a striped bass or a rockfish looks like. We got a couple of different drums, a puppy drum, some yearlings, and we also with the drums have some old mounts. That gives you an idea of what a mount that's 60 or 70 years old,
wow,
how it will begin to do, and what it looks like, as opposed to having a current one that's fiberglass and painted and holds its color real well. So it's all interesting, and it's a cultural and historical type of a side to each of them.
Yeah, definitely. I remember one time, because I didn't know, I asked you, I thought maybe you were a hunter and a fisherman on the side, and you had got all of those yourself, so it's funny to hear that they come from all different people.
Yeah, we all of our billfish are really. I tell people all the time they're D&D fish. We get all the billfish that there have come from death and divorce. so for the, and so that's how you get them. People are relocating, and there's one of the spouses have passed away, typically the male. The light wife says, I don't have any room for it, we'll leave, and things like that.
Probably happy to get rid of that.
I had one guy, Jim Charlton, that included me in his in a codicil in his last will and testament, left me 5 fish I never knew anything about until his family came to me to bring them to me, and I didn't even know what they were talking about. He had put Kelly's in his last will and testament.
Wow, that's awesome, because he knew that you'd proudly display them, and
oh yeah, exactly. They're all hanging up.
They'd live on.
They're all hanging up in a picture of him.
Nice, very nice. So here we are again. It's parade week, and we're excited. It's the 25th annual. 26th. That's right. Yeah. What is this year's theme?
Well, unfortunately, last summer, Doug Romali passed away. Doug was a Nags Head resident. He was a commissioner, and he was the fire marshal. But before he became a commissioner, his first thing, he was a fire chief in Nags Head. And he came from Baltimore, and there was a big Irish contingency in Baltimore and a big Irish celebration. So when I came up with the idea of having the St. Patrick's Day parade, Doug was all in for it and got involved. And he stayed heavily involved for about the first 3 or 4 years in helping us. And he got the Dennis McGinnis, who was our first Grand Marshal. Doug had him come on board with us, and Doug got all the fire departments and all the volunteer fire departments in the county involved. The first parade was not a very big parade, but it was the loudest parade I've ever been to. And we've even restricted some of the horns and the sirens and that now, because it was just so much.
Right.
But Doug Romali was from the beginning, so he is posthumously being our Grand Marshal. His son and grandson are going to ride on a Nags Head Fire Department vehicle. His wife, Debbie, will be on the reviewing stand with us. And he is don your kilt, raise your pint, and wear your green and white. So
nice.
It's just an Irish celebration in honor to the St. Patrick's Day parade itself, and most importantly, Doug.
Nice, very nice. And looking forward down the road, we're super excited that Kelly's is going to be hosting our own Halloween parade of costumes on October 25th. So we're pretty excited to be back there with you.
Oh, thank you. We're excited to have you. We had such a great time last year, and you two put so much energy into it. It just is just unbelievable. And we did all the work that you did, I think, really paid off, and I think it was a really good foundation of what's going to happen. And like I've told you before, that the categories that you had were just a lot of traditional categories, but then a lot of nouveau, and then when we had the theme, the group type of category, we had about 4 or 5 groups that came in and had about 5 people in the group doing different things that bring up a central theme. That was spot on. That was very, very good.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
we're
y'all.
definitely
Thank
excited.
y'all for doing it. And I think next year we probably had about 125 people this year, and so we're looking to be able to easily approach 200 this year coming up. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. I know we had 104 actual paper registered, so yeah, we're we're definitely excited to see what happens this year. So, finally, I know you're busy, but what is your ideal way to spend a day off if you ever take one on the Outer Banks?
Probably my most fun, ideal thing to do is to garner up some family members, and that can go anywhere from just my wife and I, or up to my grandchildren, or get my I got a pair of poodles that we got from the SPCA. We get the poodles and we go boat riding. I love going out. We live on the Sound. I love going out in the Sound and going anywhere from Oregon Inlet or Rodanthe all the way north through to Duck, etc. Every now and then we'll go up into the North River through Coinjock, and then come down the other side of the peninsula and come down Currituck Sound. So probably a good day on the Sound is anywhere from a minimum of 2.5 or 3 hours, and anywhere up to 5 or 6 hours. I mean, I'll be at Oregon Inlet, Duck, and have dinner in Manio all in the same afternoon. So we really enjoy it and have a great time.
Yeah, it's probably faster to do it that way than drive around here doing all that in the summertime anyway. So.
Well, the Outer Banks is truly a special and a very beautiful place. And when you get out there and watch the sunset on the water, you see all the different areas that are accessible by water. It just really is our family's favorite thing to do.
Nice, nice. Well, thanks again for coming, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the parade, and can't wait.
Thank you very much, and thank you for keeping on what you're doing for the Outer Banks. And y'all do a really good job, not only with the entertainment, but like recording these interludes are going to be very, very important in the future. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
I'm Sue Artz with OBX Entertainment.com and OBXE TV, and we'll see you next time.